I once was fatherless, a stranger with no hope. Your kindness wakened me from my sleep. Your love, it beckons deeply, a call to come and die. And by grace now I will come and take this life and take your life. When sin has lost its power, death has lost its sting, and from the grave you've risen, oh, victoriously. Into marvelous light I'm running, out of darkness, out of shame. By the cross you are the truth, you are the life, you are the way. My dead heart now is beating, my deepest stains now clean. Your breath fills up my lungs, and now I'm free, and now I'm free. And my dead heart now is beating, my deepest stains now clean. Your breath fills up my lungs, and now I'm free, and now I'm free. But sin has lost its power, death has lost its sting. From the grave you've risen, oh, victoriously. Into marvelous light I'm running, out of darkness, out of shame. By the cross you are the truth, you are the life, you are the way. Lift up my hands and spin around, see the light that I have found. Oh, the marvelous light, marvelous light. See the love that I'm around, see the light that I have found. Oh, the marvelous light, marvelous light. Sin has lost its power, death has lost its sting. From the grave you've risen, oh, victoriously. Into marvelous light I'm running, out of darkness, out of shame. By the cross you are the truth, you are the life, you are the way. Into marvelous light I'm running, out of darkness, out of shame. By the cross you are the truth, you are the life, you are the way. Blessed be your name, in the land that is plentiful, where streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name, when I'm found in the desert place, to walk through the wilderness. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name when the sun's shining down on me and the world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. And blessed be your name on the road marked with suffering. There's pain in the offering. Blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Give and take away. You give and take away. My heart will choose to say, oh, blessed be your name. You give and take away. You give and take away. But my heart will choose to say, oh, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your glorious name. Your dwelling place, O Lord Almighty, for my soul longs and even faints for you. For here my heart is satisfied within your presence. I sing beneath the shadow of your wings. 'Cause better is one day in your courts, better is one day in your house, better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. Better is one day in your courts, better is one day in your house, better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere, 1,000 elsewhere. One thing I'd ask and I would seek, to see your beauty, to find you in the place your glory dwells. 'Cause better is one day in your courts, better is one day in your house, better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. 'Cause better is one day in your courts, better is one day in your house, better is one day in your court, 1,000 elsewhere. My heart and flesh cry out for you, the living God. Your Spirit's water to my soul. I've tasted and I've seen. Come once again to me. I will draw near to you. I will draw near to you. 'Cause better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in your house. Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. 'Cause better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in your house. Better is one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere. 1,000 elsewhere.
Well, hello there, everybody. As soon as I get some light on me. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. I hope y'all are doing well today. I've got a few things to tell you before we get into our senior recognition. So, this is a little different, as you may be able to tell. I want to stress to you that the church is clean. We postponed our services today, or we rather canceled our in-person services today out of an overabundance of caution to make sure you and your family are safe. We had all of our staff tested for COVID this week, and we can rest assured knowing that the church is clean and our staff has all tested negative. So when you come back in person next week, everything will be safe for you and your family. But that's neither here nor there today. As of right now, if you'd like to check in, if you'd like to submit a prayer request, if you'd like to sign up for the GLS, there's 2 links in the description of this video that you're watching right now. The second link will take you straight to our QR landing page where you can check in, submit prayer requests, or if you have a child watching with you, hey, you can give them a coloring sheet as well. But make sure you do sign up for the GLS. It's a fantastic leadership building event with a bunch of great speakers. If you like Duck Dynasty, if you like Sadie Robertson, she's going to be there speaking. But again, I think the highlight of the entire thing is a man named T.D. Jakes. So I think you should sign up just for him, but that's just my opinion. But again, that's not what you're here for today. Today, you're here to see the seniors get recognized for their accomplishment. I mean, it's been a weird year for them, right? Everything's been weird. I mean, they can't even be up on stage with me today to be recognized, but we do have a few pictures for them today that we can pull up for you as we talk about them. The first person that we're going to talk about today is Mary Preventure. Yes. Mary was in band all throughout high school. She was a trombone player, and when she wasn't up there, she was up here at the church as one of our singers in the youth band. And she, if you haven't heard her sing before, she has a fantastic, beautiful voice. But that passion for music is leading her into a double major in music education and hospitality at UWF. So that's super, super cool. And I normally would hold our applause until the end. Actually, that's not true. I'd make you clap after each person. You're at home. You can do whatever you want. Clap as I'm talking. It's up to you. The next senior we have is Abby Scott. And Abby has been here since she was born. And she's been playing piano for the kids' bands for the past 4 years, as well as assisting in Sunday school classes for the kids' area. She was a member of SGA at the high school, or PACE, rather, for 3 years, where she started the Primary Pony Pals, which, and this is super cool, provides mentors for at-risk students at SS Dixon Primary. And in her time overseeing it, they provided 90 kids with a pony pal, with a mentor. She was also in NHS and Beta, and she graduated 4th in her class with a 4.79 GPA. I can't even fathom having a GPA that high. Sorry, Mom and Dad. And with that fantastic pedigree, she's heading to Florida State to study biomedical engineering and then applying to medical school so that one day she can work in pediatrics to serve kids which is just super, super amazing. So, thank you very much, Abby. You're going to be fantastic. Abby Scott. Then, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, the reason you're all here, and I know it. The man who keeps this show going, William Lindholm. This stud has been an all-star pitcher for his entire high school career, and he's had a long-term service here, which started with him playing Jesus in a kids' musical. And while, yes, that does look like it's photoshopped on that red cloak, I don't think it is. I think that was actually his costume. But when he's not playing in musicals, he's a member of the production team here. And not to mention, he's my favorite out of the Lindholm group by far. Chrissie has no leg to stand on when it comes to him. And he's also currently sitting on a few offers from schools to play baseball for them, but a decision has not been made just yet as to which one he's going to go to. That's William Lindholm. Then we have Olivia Marcantonio. She's been active in helping here for about 10 years now, and chances are that if you're here on any given Sunday or Wednesday night, you'll find her exercising her servant's heart somewhere here on campus. Speaking of exercising, she was active in weightlifting and on the cross-country team. Again, something I would never do. I'm not a huge fan of running, so running marathons for fun, no thank you. So more power to her on that. And she's a businesswoman. If you're going out of town or just need a break for whatever reason from your pets, contact her and she'll take great care of them. She'll take them off your hands and she'll give you the freedom to do whatever you need to go do in your life. So make sure you call her, help that business get off the ground. Olivia Marcantonio. Then we have Luca Cook. And as you can see by the bottom right picture, he is an honor student, and he's likely one of the most intelligent people that I personally know. But he's also an athlete. He played baseball all throughout high school, and on top of that, he's an excellent musician. You've probably seen him up here on the stage on Sundays, but he also plays for the youth band, he played for the kids band, and he works on the tech team for the children's ministry. So he's really a jack of all trades. Plus, he works at Chick-fil-A. So if you're over in Pensacola and you're hungry for some chicken, stop by. See him. He'll give you a discount. I can't confirm or deny that. But he's currently at PSC. He's going to graduate, or he's going to get his AA degree very shortly in cybersecurity, and then follow through to get a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. So he is one fantastic guy, Luca Cook. And then finally, we have Aubrey Ardwan Hazel. And you know what? I can't think of enough good things to say about Aubrey. She has been our youth worship leader for years now. She's been just a pivotal character in the youth ministry. I know I'm not supposed to play favorites, but probably one of my favorite people in the youth group. Sorry, everybody else. She is going to school for trauma psychology or pediatric trauma, which is fantastic. She's going to care for those people who have had life-altering issues in their life, and she can help them recover and guide them through those difficult times. So that is Aubrey. And as much as I would love for her to be up here so I can shine the spotlight on her because she'd be really uncomfortable, I'm going to keep hers really short. And as per usual, if you'll switch back to my camera, please, Mandy. Thank you. As per usual, I have a basket, a care package, if you will, for all the seniors. I'll break down what those gifts are right now. Of course, we have a staple, box of ramen, because, listen, college is expensive. You're going to be eating cheap every night, and you can't get much cheaper than a 12-pack of ramen. This was $3. Go anywhere. Pick that up. Then, the Fullertons donated these fantastic devotional guidebooks it splits your You're reading up into a bunch of different categories: your identity, your career, your finances, your home life, and personal growth. And I've looked through these and I've written in them. They're fantastic books. So everyone's going to get one of these. Then, of course, as you go off to college, you're going to forget about the basic things in life, like brushing your teeth. So I've given you 2 toothbrushes and a complimentary thing of toothpaste. I'm like the dentist, but better. Then, here's the laundry basket. You have to have something to do laundry with. So I got you some detergents. It may make your skin itchy, but hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do. And of course, what would this gift be without everyone's favorite off-brand Pop-Tarts, Toastums? These are edible. I'm not going to say good, but they are edible and they're on a budget. So every year, I have something that has a theme to go with it. And this year, how could I not do something that's going to be tied into being quarantined and in solitary confinement? So, when you're bored, next time you have to be quarantined, I got you this 100-piece puzzle. Every basket has something different. This one just happens to be a spaceship. And while you're in quarantine and in solitary confinement, you might get bored, so I got you a friend. This is something, you put this in water and you let it grow, apparently 600% larger. And I can't fathom that, but that's going to be a really large crocodile for you to talk to and hang out with when you're just bored out of your mind. And then lastly, the thing that I come to all celebrations with, a small bottle of Martinelli's sparkling apple cider. Celebrate all of your parties with this. Listen, don't even celebrate a party with it. Go out and get some today because it's fantastic. Not a sponsor. But everyone's going to get one of those. So, those are your senior baskets. Don't worry, that one didn't break. Please don't fall over again. There we go. So, when we come back in person, please stop by my office and pick one of these up for yourself. I'm very excited to see what you all do in the future. And yeah. Thank you very much, graduating senior class. Now, I'll pray and we'll continue with our service. Father God, thank you so much for everything you do for us. I know this year has been difficult and strange for everybody, especially our seniors who didn't get to have a normal graduation, didn't get to have a normal end of the year, end of their school career experience, God. But I thank you for giving them life experience and teaching them how to adapt and overcome in strange situations, God. You are preparing them to be world shakers and movers in the future, God. You're raising up a generation that is going to change the way the world works, and we thank you so much for that. And I pray that you bless every graduating senior. They can go out and they can make an impact and a difference in your name, God. We love you and we thank you so much. Amen.
When the music fades and all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's of worth that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it. When it's all about you, it's all about you, Jesus. King of endless world, no one could express how much you deserve. Though I'm weak and poor, all I have is yours, every single breath. And I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it. When it's all about you, it's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it. When it's all about you, it's all about you, Jesus.
Thank you, Heath. Well, like I said earlier, this is a little bit different, but not too different. I typically talk to myself anyway. So, we're just going to get into it today, yeah? So, as you might be able to see if you look right beneath this video, it says blessings. That is the title of this lesson, I would say. But before we get into that, I got a question I got to ask you. Is anyone else just, tired? Maybe not physically, but more mentally and emotionally. Right now, so much is happening in the world, and everything is a hot button issue now, and there's no respite from any of it. It feels like no matter where you go, you can't get any rest from current world events. And I was reminded of this when I was watching the new Bruce Lee 30 for 30. For those of you who don't know, Bruce Lee is probably one of my favorite figures throughout history. And if you don't know much about Bruce Lee, allow me to enlighten you a little bit. Bruce Lee was a martial artist and philosopher and movie star. But he was this ahead of the curve martial artist. He was a Wang Chung master trained under Ip Man. I don't know if you've seen those movies. They're great. I recommend you watching. The first one's great. The second one's okay. Skip the third one, and I haven't seen the fourth one yet. But Ip Man's a real person. He trained Bruce Lee in martial arts. But that's not just what his claim to fame was. His claim to fame was that he was one of the first people to break the mold as far as the code of martial arts, right? Back in the day, even up until the late 90s, if you were a martial artist, it didn't matter. There was no such thing as mixed martial arts. If you did karate, you were a karate practitioner. If you did Muay Thai, you're Muay Thai only. If you did jiu-jitsu, you're only jiu-jitsu, right? Bruce Lee decided that doesn't make any sense, so he combined disciplines. He took his favorite elements and techniques from each of these disciplines and made them into one called Jeet Kune Do, and he was shunned for it. right? If you tried to leave your martial arts gym and go to a different type of martial art, you would be blacklisted from these gyms because it was dishonorable to go do that. So he decided he's going to do his own thing. He's going to start combining techniques because he wanted to be the best martial artist he could. And again, he was this great philosopher. You've more than likely heard his be water thing, right? Water is formless and shapeless. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. It can flow, it can crash. Be water, my friend. You've probably heard it before. If you haven't, you just did. But it sounded way more smart and wise when he said it. So this philosopher ended up dying at 32 because of an allergic reaction to some headache medicine that he took. So in this documentary that I was watching, I thought I was going to learn more about his rise and how he was dealing with the opposition to him trying to combine all these martial arts into one, and how many people were against him with that. Or him training under Itman, or all these other things it could have been because it's a ESPN 30 for 30. But it ended up just being how difficult it was for him to get cast in Hollywood because he was Chinese, which is horrible, and it really showcased the cruelty and unfairness he faced. But if I wanted to see how cruel and unfair life was, I would have just looked outside. This was my time to get away from that. I just wanted to learn some cool facts about a cool guy. If I wanted to see injustice, I would have just turned on the normal TV. I would have looked at the news. If I wanted to see cruelty, I would go to social media. I would go to any social media site. If I just want to be in the absolute dredges of humanity, I'd go to Twitter. Here's the third most important thing I'm going to tell you today. If you're on Twitter, don't be. Twitter is the worst place to be. It's like if you lived in a dumpster and you're just like, yeah, this is fine. Everything's fine in this place. I'm getting trash dumped on me all the time. That's Twitter. So I would highly recommend not being on Twitter. But that's just my opinion. My point is our present day has a lot of difficulties. There's a lot of hurt and pain, and there's a lot of people starting problems for other people. There's a lot of anonymous voices calling for people to be angry at each other because of things they said 13 years ago. All right, so how did we get here? And more importantly, how in the world is this a blessing? Let's talk about that first question, and then we'll get to the second part later. How did we get to this point? Right? This may just be my naive young man nature, but it didn't feel like that long ago when you could disagree with somebody without being enemies. To me, it seems that changed in my lifetime. I'd say about 15 years ago. When that shift started to happen, things slowly started to change, and we started to become soft from all the luxuries of modern life that kept us from experiencing the key difficulties that would shape us growing up. Right? I mean, a lot of people didn't like George Bush as a president, but it was never as heated as it is now. Right? You could disagree with, oh yeah, we shouldn't be going to Iraq, we shouldn't be chasing down these wars in other countries, but whatever, right? And then they would go, yeah, you're wrong, you're right, whatever. And they move on. But now, if you say one thing, like, oh gosh, you get blasted and canceled, and your life could be over in an instant. We were able to start exclusively surrounding ourselves with people that agree with us on most things, and we excluded those who didn't. And that sounds fantastic, right? You get to hang out with people that like the same things and talk about the same things and agree on the same things, and you never have to argue with anybody. But that was the fatal flaw in our society. That's where we messed up. When we surround ourselves with people that believe the same thing, look the same, like the same things that we like, and so on and so forth, we break into tribes. Right? And anything that goes against our tribe is a personal attack on our tribe and must be met with equal, if not greater, force. An eye for an eye. I'm going to give you the second most important thing I have to tell you today. Third most important thing, get off Twitter. The second most important thing, surround yourself with people who are different from you, who have experienced different things, who think differently than you do. Because then we all get to see that people are just people. We're all flawed. We all have moments when we're wrong. We all have moments when we're right. We all have different histories that have brought us to the point where we are today. They made us who we are. And when you be around those people, you learn how to disagree without feeling personally, like it's a personal vendetta against you. Right? I don't know how many of you have heard about Daryl Davis. I learned about him pretty recently. Daryl Davis, probably one of the coolest people I've ever heard about and heard speak before. Daryl Davis is a black jazz musician. He plays the piano, I believe. And what's cool about him is that he would sit down and talk and hang out with and befriend high-ranking members of the KKK. This black man would go hang out and have dinners with and share meals with and be involved in the lives of these high-ranking KKK members, the people that hated him, that wished he was dead. And he just talked to them, person to person. He said, hey, why do you feel this way about me? Why do you feel this way about black people? And they would give him some crazy answer that they just grew up believing. And he would say, well, that's not true. I mean, you know me. Right? You know me. I'm not that way. And they would go, well, yeah, you're right. And it wasn't an instant, it wasn't one conversation, and these people were like, oh, I'm cured of my racism. He would have, over the years, he would talk to so many people. And what happened was that having these cordial conversations, by befriending these people, by talking to people that were different than him and showing them that we're not that different, these high-ranking members of the KKK renounced their ways. They gave Daryl Davis their robes and all that, and all of their paraphernalia, so Daryl Davis can open up a museum and showcase all of these things, not to glorify it, but to say, hey, these were people that hated me. But because I talked to them like people instead of monsters, they saw the light. They saw there was a better way. They saw the truth, that we're all just people. And they gave up their ways. And now I don't know much about the structure of how the KKK works, and I'm really sorry I have to keep saying that because it makes me sick every time I say those 3 letters, which is super weird. But these weren't just like the normal, everyday members. These were the leaders of the regions that they were in, the state leaders he was talking to and getting them to renounce the KKK and breaking it from the top down. And he did that just by having conversations with them, just by being a person to them. I highly recommend you look up Daryl Davis. He's super interesting. So our tribes broke off from each other. And then we were able to grow our tribes with the devil's greatest tool, social media. And the thing about it is social media had the potential to be so good, a gift from God, to be connected and talk to anyone in the world in an instant is a powerful tool. No one can refute that. And to an extent, it has helped. It has showcased there's a lot of injustice in this world, and there's a lot of bad, and we can't just live in this bubble. But because of this, we've made a new pantheon of gods in our modern day. Instead of Zeus and Poseidon and Hades, we have Facebook and TikTok and Twitter. And a lot of us will take anything we see or hear from those gods as the gospel truth, even when they're proven wrong, because our tribe feels that it's real, and if you disagree, you're scum. We don't vet our sources, right? We see it on the platform of our choice, and we're said, oh, must be true. It has 16 million views on it. It's got to be the truth. And even in the face of facts, when that situation that you believe to be true is proven wrong, we can't grasp that. And we get angry that people think that we're wrong. And then we get canceled. Right? I'm not a fan of fear tactics. That is such a dirty way to convince people to your point. So trust me when I'm saying I'm not trying to tell you this to fearmonger at all. But you should be worried about social media, what you put on social media. Because the things that are okay to say right now, today, probably won't be in 10 years. Right? And I'm not justifying anything that anybody did in the past, but I'm saying that in the past, those things were socially normal. We're holding people to standards of today when the standards of yesterday weren't the same. I could go on Facebook right now. Actually, I can't because I don't have a Facebook. I could go on Instagram right now and say, wow, this movie I just watched was crazy. 10 years from now, I'm canceled because I used the word crazy and I'm making fun of mental illness, which is not true. It's not the case. It's just nomenclature for today. I hope I'm making sense to you. I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to signify how difficult the world is right now, and we've forgotten about grace and forgiveness. We've forgotten what it means to serve people and walk with people instead of crucifying them. Allow me to share with you a verse that you've no doubt heard a lot before. Jesus and his disciples were sharing, this is John 13, 2 through 17. Jesus and his disciples were sharing the evening meal. The devil had already provoked Judas, Simon Iscariot's son, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew the Father had given everything into his hands and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the table, took off his robes, and picked up a linen towel. He tied it around his waist, and then he poured water into a wash basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he was wearing. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus said, "You don't understand what I'm doing now, but you will understand later." "No," Peter said, "you will never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Unless I wash your feet, you have no place with me." Simon Peter said, "Lord, not only my feet then, but also my hands and my head." Jesus responded, "Those who have bathed need only their feet washed because they are completely clean. You disciples are clean, but not every one of you." He knew who would betray him. That's why he said, "Not every one of you is clean." After he washed the disciples' feet, he put on his robes and returned to the place at his table. He said to them, "Do you know what I've done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you speak correctly because I am. If I, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, you too must wash each other's feet. I've given you an example. Just as I have done, you also must do. I assure you, servants aren't greater than their masters, nor are those sent greater than those who sent them. Since you know these things, you'll be happy if you do them." Do you understand what just happened there? You're probably thinking, "Oh, yeah, it's about serving each other." And if you're thinking that, you're right. But you missed the same thing that I missed the first 50 times I've read this verse. Let me read it one more time. Jesus and his disciples were sharing the evening meal. The devil had already provoked Judas to betray Jesus. Jesus knew the Father had given everything to his hands, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the table, took off his robes, picking up a linen towel, he tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a wash basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with a towel. You do not understand what I'm doing now, but you'll understand later. After he washed the disciples' feet, he put on his robes and returned to his table. He said, "Do you know what I've done for you? Call me teacher and Lord, and this is true. If I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you must too wash each other's feet." Here's what I missed every single time. He knew Judas was going to be responsible for his death. He knew that. And what did he do? He performed the lowest task imaginable on the person who will forever be known as the betrayer, fully knowing he was going to be solely responsible for his torture, humiliation, and execution. That was the act of Jesus forgiving this transgression ahead of time. Right? The washing of the feet wasn't for the other disciples. They were clean, but not all of them. So Jesus in that moment showed us how to serve and forgive at the same time. Here's a hypothetical situation for you. Someone you've been friends with for 3 years comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to stab you." And you go, "Oh, I wish you wouldn't. But before you do that, allow me to go clean your toilet. Your toilet's gross. It needs to be taken care of. Let me go do that for you. Also, by the way, I understand. And I love you." And you clean the toilet, and the person stabs you. That's what happened. God himself washed the feet of the person who was responsible for his death. That's the blessing. That as soon as we screw up, as soon as you screw up, Jesus will be there to wash your feet. He tells you, "Hey, you screwed up, you hurt me. But that's the past. Let's clean you up and let's do better together." And then he says, "Just as I've done for you, you must also do." This isn't a one-way street. We don't just get to receive the gift and not do anything with it. He set the example. It's up to us to follow it. Since you know these things, you will be happy to do them. Let me read you one more thing. Matthew 27, 15 through 23. It was customary, this is the trial of Jesus right before he is carried to the cross. Matthew 27, 15 through 23. It was customary during the festival for the governor to release the crowd, one prisoner, whomever they might choose. At the time, there was a well-known prisoner named Barabbas. When the crowd came together, Pilate asked them, "Whom would you like me to release, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Christ?" He knew that the leaders of the people he had handed him over because of jealousy. Pilate knew Jesus was innocent. Right? It says it right there. He knew that the Pharisees and the church leaders had given Jesus over because they were jealous of what he was doing and the attention that he was getting. I digress. While he was serving as judge, his wife sent him this message: "Leave that righteous man alone. I have suffered much today in a dream because of him." Pilate and his wife know this is not correct. This trial is bogus. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas and kill Jesus. The governor said, which of the two do you want me to release?" "Barabbas," they replied. Pilate said, "Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called Christ?" They all said, "Crucify him." But he said, "Why? He has done nothing wrong. What has he done?" They shouted even louder, "Crucify him." Doesn't that sound familiar? Right? A bunch of people are calling in loud voices for someone to get crucified. And then somebody says, "What was the problem?" And you don't get an answer. You just get the crowd shouting even louder to crucify him. And as much as we don't want to admit it, we're in that crowd sometimes. We're in the crowd yelling, "Crucify him." But we have a choice. You can choose to see the example of Jesus, swallowing your pride, forgiving, and then to put a nice bow on things, serve the person who hurt you. Or you can choose to see the example of the crowd, being consumed by your pride and your arrogance and buying into your tribe, deciding to crucify someone for a crime that you made up. I know what choice I'm going to make, and I pray to God for the betterment of our world that we all make the same choice. Will you pray with me? Father God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for the time that we get to come together, even over a live stream, and we can talk about you, and we can learn from your example, and we can see the things you've done for us. We can see the example that you have set for us, God. I pray that we can give up our tribal ways. I pray that we can give up the pantheon of gods that we've made. And we can realize that you set the perfect example for us. If we want change in this world, all we have to do is realize the way that you forgive people. God, I pray that we can recognize that we are in that crowd yelling, "Crucify him." I pray that we recognize that, and I pray that we make the active decision to go against that. And to recognize that people are just people. We make mistakes and we are fallible. I pray that we can put our differences aside and get back to a point of serving and loving and forgiving one another, God. We love you and thank you so much. Amen.
Oh, the majesty, let all the earth rejoice, all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide. It trembles at his voice, it trembles at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Age to age he stands, time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Know the name above all names, worthy of all praise, and my heart will sing how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God.
Thank you again so much for joining us today online. We will be back in person next week. As I said earlier, all of our staff that was tested this week, all the results came back negative. So you can be assured that when you come in here next week, your family will be safe and clean. Again, thank you for being here, and thank you for celebrating these seniors with me. Let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for this time we get to spend together. I pray that you bless the lives of everyone that has heard from you today, God. I pray that we can go out and we can begin our journey of forgiveness and servanthood for others, God. That we can set the trend for those around us. that we can start to change the way people think and act. And we can show the blessings that you give us every day, God. We love you and we thank you so much. Amen. See you next week.
He's great.